Can you see us, Miss Anita? Do you see it on my page?
Yeah,
It says now streaming live on Facebook. Right here. Can anybody see us live now?
Yes.
I can see it live on your page.
Okay. Anita, it should be out there now if you want to share it. I'm going to go ahead and hit record. We are live and recording. Well, 'cause I gotta switch it.
Okay, say that again, April.
I said, can you guys see us now on Facebook Live on April Lynn Taylor? And you should be able to
See, we
share
can go
it.
to Facebook and.
And I was gonna let you guys know I'm gonna start recording as well. Ashley, I'm gonna make you the host. And then don't forget to make Alicia the host.
Okay.
Should be the host. Welcome, everyone. So Ashley, we do have a dilemma. When we make Alicia the host,
Mm.
you're still gonna need to be able to let people on. Can you guys share that some way?
Mm.
Hmm.
I think it was something like if you go under share screen and then it says make multiple hosts or something like that. I'm disabled, so I can't do it, but go under share screen and you drop that box down and it says something about make multiple people be able to share. And then you want to make Alicia that multiple person. Otherwise, Alicia gonna do double
Try.
duty.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Alicia?
No, I was saying look and see if you can do it that way. Also see if on the participant side under when you hover my name, see if it says it gives me ability to share my screen at all, because that might be another way.
I clicked multiple participants for sharing the screen. So you should be able to do that.
Okay, so
You can share Alicia, is that right?
yes, I can share my screen that way.
We're going to give people a little bit more time to log on. Welcome if you're logging on. I see some people who can say they can see us. Thank you guys for acknowledging us. I see you Sharon and Tavi. We're going to give them a few minutes to log on, and then Alicia, right at about maybe 3 or 4 after you can get started. We'll give them a few minutes. But you guys can fellowship and say hey to one another if you want to. This is a fun time to just say hey and check in.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So happy to see everybody on here tonight for our program.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Hey, Miss Priscilla. We're gonna get started in just a few minutes. We want to give everybody a few minutes to log on first before we get started. But y'all can say hey to one another. Ashley, can you see the names that are logging on? Because I see some people in the Facebook live audience. Can you see those names?
I can see those names as well.
Okay. And you could go ahead and start doing your housekeeping toward the door prizes. Like you can start making your list and reaching out to people so you can be ahead of the game. Welcome to the audience. We're just giving it a few more minutes before we get started.
Welcome, welcome to everybody coming on. We'll be starting in a few. We are just giving a few more minutes for more participants to come on, and we'll be starting. Thank you for coming and signing on our program.
Hey, Uncle Charles and Aunt Beulah. Hey, Miss Sharon.
Thank you so much. I didn't realize I was muted. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad you can participate. We're excited.
Yep, I am too.
Okay, if we can give them a few more minutes, we're still getting some calls coming in, trying to get the Zoom link. So it's just give us a few more minutes.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And we'll wait for Pastor Taylor's cue.
Gotcha.
He'll tell us when we start.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to those who are on our Zoom, and welcome to those who are watching us from Facebook as well. Hello to those participants.
I'll let some music. John, you tell us when you're ready.
Okay, I think we're ready. We'll go ahead, and if I have to leave out, my wife is getting them the number and information and all.
Okay, sounds good.
Mhm.
Right. Well, I want to welcome everybody tonight. And is it okay, Ms. Taylor? Or do you?
You're good. Make sure you put it on the slideshow.
Got it.
And then I was just gonna say hey to my cousin who was coming on. And then we can start. Hey, Mary. Okay, you're good.
So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for signing on for our program. Welcome to those who are joining us on our Zoom link, and also welcome and hello to those who are watching us from Facebook Live. Tonight we will be doing a program on dealing with grief and loss during the pandemic. It's sponsored by the Taylor Funeral Home and Sound Living Foundation. We will be having a presentation by April L. Taylor, and I myself am one of the interns. And we also have another intern on here with us, which is Ashley Dean.
Hello. Nice to meet you all.
So to start us off, we will be having Mr. John Taylor of the Taylor Funeral Home.
First of all, I'd like to just say welcome again to each and every one of you, and thank you for tuning in to this particular session, this particular conference, as we are dealing with grief counseling during the pandemic, COVID-19. And so if you notice, this was truly a difficult season. Last year was truly a trying time where family members had to suffer the loss of maybe one, two, and even three or four family members just right close together. And I join in with you through this grieving process because my mother-in-law passed along with other friends that I know, good friends. And so it was a moment where we were not able to officially say goodbye to our loved ones, not to be there, not to hold their hands, to put them in a hospital and to leave them, which was just something that we would not even do. And it was hard to grapple with that and to deal with that. And then to hear about them passing and dying in that condition was truly a tough experience for us. My mother-in-law passed when we could only have 10 people at the service, and it was extremely, extremely difficult. And but through it, it's been a process, and I just want to say we feel your pain. We understand what we have gone through, and not only us in this area, it's all over the world. And it became a reality for me when I heard a guy on CNN. It was an African-American young man, and he had lost 2 or 3 sisters. And he said the most difficult moment was just not being there. And, and I really share his sentiments. It's not that they passed, but we were not there to be with them, which, that's not like our family and your family. We want to be there. We're going to be there. We're going to share. So I'm hopefully you would gain something that would just help us through the process to deal with our grief, deal with our coping skills, to keep moving, even in the midst of a loss. I just want to share just a brief passage, and then we're going to turn it over.
I ain't gonna see your video. Your microphone is on mute.
Okay, can let
Unmuted.
I'm out.
What I do?
All right. There is a passage of scripture that I want to share with you from the book of Psalms 121 that I found strength, and I hope you find strength too. It says, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. All of my help cometh from the Lord. And one of the things that was a strength for me was that I was not looking unto the hills or the mountains. I was looking beyond the mountains, knowing that that is where my strength lies. That even
on the microphone,
in my darkest moment, he will sustain us, and he will guide us, and he will keep us. So we are just thankful for us having the opportunity to come together, and just if you make sure you take this moment to grow, to help somebody else, and to reach out for those who are suffering. Brief word, a moment of prayer. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your comfort that you give us. And as you walk with us in the midst of our pain, you help us that we might be able to help others who are hurting. It's in his holy and precious name we do ask it all. Amen.
Amen.
April, I now turn it over.
my video had stopped.
All right, Miss Alicia. I'm going to ask everybody to mute themselves before Alicia comes back on. Would everybody just mute yourself? And Ashley, help me mute everybody if we can't mute ourselves.
I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna leave this now. My
Okay,
video.
so we will now be having a selection by Miss Pat White. Miss Pat White, if you are on the Zoom call, please unmute yourself.
Okay. I'd like to say good evening to everyone and thank you for having me today. Thank you to Sister April for inviting me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be able to share with you all on this afternoon. Thank you, this evening. I've had many tears and sorrow. I've had questions for tomorrow. There's been times I didn't know right from wrong. But in every situation, God gave me blessed consolation that my trials come to make me strong. Whoa, I've been to lots of places. I've seen a lot of faces. There's been times I felt so all alone. Oh, yes. Yes, those lonely hours, those precious lonely hours. Jesus lets me know I was his own. Oh, through it all. Oh, through it all. I've learned to trust in Jesus. Yes, I've learned to trust in God. Oh, through it all. Yes, through it all. I've learned to depend upon his word. Oh, I thank God for the mountains, and I thank him for the valleys. I thank him for the storms he brought me through. For if I never had a problem, I wouldn't know that God could solve them. I never know what faith in God could do. Oh, through it all. Yes, through it all. I've learned to trust in Jesus. Yes, I've learned to trust in God. Oh, through it all. Yes, through it all. I've learned to depend upon his word. Oh, through it all. Yes, through it all. I've learned to trust in Jesus. Yes, I've learned to trust in God. Oh, through it all. Yes, through it all. I've learned to depend upon his word. Yes, I've learned to depend upon his word. Oh, I've learned to depend upon his word. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Miss Pat White, for that beautiful, beautiful selection. Those words are so true. Through it all, learning to trust in Jesus. Now we'll be moving on to our program. We will be having a presentation by Miss April L. Taylor. And before she presents, I want to make a note. If you have any questions, please post your questions in the chat. Please, those who are watching from Facebook, please post your questions on Facebook. We will see it from, we can definitely answer those for you. Miss April Taylor, if I can move now give you the pulpit, basically, the podium.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Great job, Miss Alicia. Thank you to Alicia and Ashley for helping us out today. John, thank you for having this idea, as you always do. And we always partner together with Taylor Funeral Home. So we appreciate you calling us up and asking us to participate. Miss Pat, I don't know if you know why I asked you to sing that song, but this time last year when I was going through, that song helped to get me through. And then when I played it again this year, I'm like, I think we need that song today. So that's kind of why you got called up, because you ministered to me in my time of need, and as it ministered to me, I knew it would minister to other people. So thank you so much for being willing to share your heart. And you always sound beautiful, but I love doing it. It really, ministered to me, because that's all we got is Jesus, as John reminded us. We can trust him. I want to let you know what we're doing today and why we're doing it, and we're excited about. We're excited about the opportunity to share with you guys. I'm passionate about sharing, I'm passionate about helping, but as John mentioned, we have lost a lot of people. We have personally lost a lot of people. So it's been hard. But I know when we're talking about dealing with grief and loss, it's not just about the pandemic. So it could be any kind of grief and loss. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the next slide. So we're going to talk about what is grief. It's intense, it's emotional suffering. It could be, dark shadows, valleys. It could be a lingering process. It's unique for different people. It could be sudden. If it's sudden, it's going to be, it could be difficult if we didn't really expect it to happen, as well as, it could be difficult either way. It's not always just about death, and it's not always just about the pandemic. When we're talking about grief, it could be the loss of a loved one, like we're talking about today, but it could be a loss of a relationship, the loss of a job, the loss of financial support, the loss of security, the loss of community, as many of us lost with the pandemic. So there are a lot of losses that can be compounded that we consider all of that grief.
Picture, and just a picture of her, so I don't know.
Grief is it's actually a complex set of emotions, and then everybody who grieves grieve in a different way. So it's not, we don't all grieve the same. We don't all feel the same, so we won't all grieve the same. So as we do this together today, I want everybody to be able to learn and grow and find some coping skills, as John mentioned, that we can use that kind of help us through this process. So one of the things I'm going to have you do now at the kind of the beginning, if you didn't get the memo about having a notepad, the markers, or any kind of something handy to write on, color pencils, anything like that, go ahead and grab that before we go to our next slide, because I want to talk about some things we can actually do. So most of this time is going to be active participatory. So we're going to do a lot of work today together. So if you've got that, go ahead and grab it. We'll go to the next slide, Miss Alicia. So
they gonna want that one with that long hair with that white dress on.
We're going to talk about journaling. And we're going to talk about journaling. And sometimes when we talk about journaling, people they're like, I don't like to journal because I don't journal regularly. I don't journal all the time. So I put this sample up to remind you that we can just write on a piece of paper. So some of these exercises, just use different colored pencils or crayon markers. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be formal. So you can use this as kind of a format, as kind of a guideline to kind of how to do something, at least this next couple of exercises. So we're going to go to the next one. We're going to talk about the emotional journey of grief. Grief can be like a roller coaster. A lot of times we talk about grief being in stages, but I don't grieve in stages. My grief isn't linear. It isn't just, 5 stages or 6 stages and in order. It's more like this picture, more like a roller coaster all over the place. So I want you to take this page and take a real close look at it. I want you to think about your loss. If you've had multiple losses like we have, you might have to pick one to do this exercise with today, and then you could pick a different one for next time. So pick the person or thing that you lost that you want to kind of process right now. For me, I would say I would pick my mom, and I'll use my mom as an example through this whole thing. So you'll see kind of how to use your loved one to kind of how to process the emotion around it. So what I want you to do is look at these words all over the page and think about if you have felt any of these in the last couple of days. And this could be any losses. It could be during the pandemic. It could be years ago. It could be spouses. It could be through violence. It could be any kind of losses. So it doesn't have to be just in the last year. So this could be 20 years ago, 10 years ago, a month ago. It could be any losses. So, and again, it could be a loss of a job, loss of a community, loss of a friend. It could be a lot of different kind of ways. So look at these words and write them down on your paper. And after you write them on your paper, write the one that stands out the most for you in our chat, because we want to kind of see, can we join together and see what what's kind of common for everybody. So if you write down the word that affects you the most, or that really stands out for you on this sheet, just put it in the chat room for us. We're going to try to play a little music while we're doing that as well.
Happening, stop this day over again. No, don't say those words to me. Keep things the way that they've always been. I don't believe.
There was an accident? I just talked to him a few hours earlier. I don't know what I'm going to do.
We knew the day was coming, but there was still no way to prepare. I was at her bedside when she took her last breath. I'd never hear her voice again. Never hear her say, I love you.
This can't be happening. Start this day over again. No, don't say those words to me. Keep things the way that they've always been. I don't believe what you're saying is true. Stop it. I'm not gonna listen to you. No, no. No.
I was numb. They told me, but it wasn't registering. I just sat there. I couldn't move. Any moment now, someone would wake me up from this nightmare.
When he told me, I pushed him away. I just couldn't take the words in. I've got so much left to say to her. I just need more time. Wish I be happening. Start this day over again. No, don't say those words to me. Keep things the way that they've always been. I don't believe what you're saying is true. Stop it, I'm not gonna listen to you. No, 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 no. This can't be happening. Start this day over again.
Did you guys get a chance to finish? If you're not finished, let me know. You can just let me know in the chat room. If you're not, if I didn't give you enough time, if you need more time, just say more. And while I'm waiting to make sure everybody's finished, I see shattered, depressed, anxiety, hope, commitment, more anxiety, why, memories, confused, stress, memories, confused, memories, lonely, empty, memories. So memories is a real common sentiment. Does anybody need more time? Everybody okay? All right, if I don't hear anybody saying they're not okay, I'm gonna keep moving. Now, one of the things that I didn't see in the timeline is anger, but that's one that I've dealt with and a lot of people deal with, and it kind of stands out with grief and loss because anger kind of pops and it becomes more evident. We have more kind of issues concerning anger around this time because we have grief and loss, everything's exasperated. So I want to take a little time, and especially since our poster said we would deal with anger, and I want to talk about anger. So Alicia, make sure we go to the next slide so we can kind of think about anger for a minute. And when I think about anger, I want you to think about anger is not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just an emotion. It's just how we feel. And so it's nothing wrong with feeling anger, the anger of emotion itself. Now, when we act on it and cause some problems, that can be a problem. But if we just feel anger, if we feel sad, if we feel hurt, those are all emotions. They're God-given emotions, and it's okay that we feel it. One of the reasons we asked Miss Pat to sing, because we want to come into the spirit of the Lord and realize that, you know, God is the one who's going to help us really heal from this. So however you feel, I want you to be true to yourself and think about how you feel and what's going on with you. So I want you to do the same thing and get you another sheet of paper and look at this anger. If you want to draw an iceberg and be creative, what's under your iceberg? Or if you just want to write anger iceberg on your paper, that's fine. But which of these feelings have you felt dealing with your grief of your loved one or of your situation? It could be a loved one or a situation. Which one of these things have you felt? And just like we did before, I'm going to play music again. But as we did before, you can write it in the chat and make sure you write a bunch on your paper too and use some color pencils and stuff. Make it creative.
No, don't say those words to me. Keep things the way that they've always been. I don't believe what you're saying is true. Stop it. I'm not gonna listen to you. No, no, no. From the moment I wake up, back in the nightmare, give me one bit of reason to get out of bed. It's as if there is a shroud around the sun today. Every breath that's like a boulder is on my chest. People say, well, at least now she is in heaven. Is that supposed to help me with my pain? I clench my fist, curse the sky. Why did you take her away? Answer me, she'll still be alive. Don't feel much like bread today. Don't feel much like care. Don't feel much like care. Don't feel much like care today. Seems like everywhere I look, there are reminders. And the memories only serve to hurt me more. How am I supposed to find a heart to hold again? There's no way to make it how it was before. People say God needed her in heaven. Is that supposed to mean I didn't need her here? I clench my fist, curse the sky. I feel so betrayed. If you answered me, she'll still be alive. I don't feel much like bread today. Don't feel much like faith. Don't feel much like prayer. I don't feel much like prayer today. Must be something I could have done to make it different. It should not have ended this way. Seems like somebody could have done something. There's got to be someone to blame. I hang my head and heave a sigh. Couldn't see her stay. If you stepped in, she'd still be alive. Don't feel much like prayer today. Don't feel much like faith. Don't feel much like prayer. Don't feel much like prayer today.
Okay, so we've got a lot of feelings that came in under anger. Grief, pain, loss, afraid, relief sometimes, pressure, worried, sad, hurt, disappointed, anxious, sad, overwhelmed, sad, hurt, nervous, definitely broken, frustrated, offended, attacked, annoyed, frustrated, which is what I said, moody. And what I want you to do with these first two sheets that we just did is that when you have some extra time, we're not going to take enough time to do it today, but take each one of those words and maybe write out why you felt that way. What was going on? What happened in that situation? What caused you to feel embarrassed or moody or overwhelmed? What was the circumstance? Because the more you get in touch with your emotions, the better you're going to feel and the more healing that's going to occur. So I want you to have the opportunity to start to heal, to start the healing process. we've got another couple of exercises, and some of these, get ready, because we're going to ask you guys to say something. I like the chat room, but we're going to let you kind of sign on and say something as well. So the next one we're going to talk about is called the laundry of life. I want you guys to know that God has been really good to me. It's been a really tough year. And in this year, we had great loss. Some of you know, some of you may not know, but I lost my mom, my aunt, and my uncle. And my other aunt, who's on the line, recovered from the pandemic. So it's been a really tough year for us. But God, being the great God that he is, has been very gracious and giving me resources and things and exercises to help me do okay, which when I learn something, I just share with everybody else. So I went to a workshop early this year. And first of all, it was a prayer request, because it was like, Lord, it's been a year. It's coming up on a year for my loss. I need to be able to deal with this so I can help other people deal with it. So a workshop popped up on grief and loss. And I attended the workshop, and it was really, really very therapeutic for me. And so this is one of the exercises that I learned in that workshop. It's called the laundry of life. And what I want you to do in this next section is, if you are an artist or if you like to draw, sketch a piece of clothing, something that represents your loved one. So in my case, it was a hat. My mom loved hats. She was a hat lady. So I use hats to kind of connect with her. So I use a hat for my exercise. But you can use any piece of clothing. It can be something you wear, just something that reminds you of the circumstance or of the person. And then draw that out. And then what I want you to do with that article of clothing is write some wisdom about that person or about the situation, or write some memories on that item. So you'll sketch out something. It could be clothes, it could be shoes, socks, some garment of clothing. It could be a hat, it could be a dress, just something that represents your loved one. And once you get it sketched out, and if you don't draw, just write the word. Just write the word dress or shirt or hat. And then write down things that remind you of that on that sketch. Again, wisdom or memories about the person or about the situation. And I'm going to play some more music while we take a few more minutes, okay?
If you want to, you don't have to put a brave face on for me. Rage if you're angry. This is not the time to keep things nice and neat. Though it seems today like you could never heal, there's no way to escape the things you feel. So drink deep of the sorrow, drink deep of the pain. Don't let anybody tell you to get out of the rain. This is your cup, and you're the one who has to drink. Though the taste may go down quickly, drink deep. Stare at the pictures, feel the ache of better days gone by. Press on with the questions. It's okay to keep on asking why. There'll be those who try to rush you through the grief, But I'm here to say, take all the time you need to dream deep of the sorrow, dream deep of the pain. Don't let anyone tell you to get out of the rain. This is your cup, and you're the one who has to drink. Though the taste may go down, drink deep. There's no way around the valley, but on the other side of darkness there is light. So drink deep of the sorrow, drink deep of pain. Don't let anybody tell you to get out of the rain. This is your cup, and you're the one who has to drink till the taste of bitter turns to bittersweet.
So I have some people sharing on the chat. I want to know if anybody would like to share, and Ashley help me to pay attention if anybody wants to share. Let us know if you're interested in sharing your piece of clothing and why. And tell us a little bit about your loved one. So let us know. Just there's a hand. You can go to the participants and raise your hand if you want to participate. So I see some hats, some jewelry, some dresses, a coat. Ashley, is anybody showing the hand that they want to participate and want to share about their loved one?
I'm not seeing any hands. I think one person.
Can you unmute them and let them know?
Miss Fatima, were you trying to raise your hand?
Yes.
You can share. Go ahead and tell us about your loved one and what you chose and why.
Okay, can everybody hear me? I chose a coat as my lunder of life because my late husband, he loved to buy me coats. So when he passed, I pretty much got rid of everything except his London Fog raincoat and another coat he gifted me with that I always called it his coat because he always made sure I put it in storage every year. And as a matter of fact, I'm reminded I need to put it in storage this year.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. It looks like I saw John's hand. John, you want to unmute?
Okay, there we go. I wanted to, a couple of things I wanted to just mention as I talk about my mother-in-law that I put down. She loved to wear hats, and we would always see her in a hat on Sunday. I mean, that was her trademark. Another thing, she was you know, the piece that was just brought family together, and her, I think my favorite dish that I think of constantly when I think of her is blackberry dumplings.
Oh, wow.
If I can find, I haven't been able to find any blackberry dumplings. No one got the recipe, but those are just some of the things that I think of when I think of her during this time.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Does anybody else want to share something about their piece of Laundry of Life and why you chose that piece?
My name is Kevin Johnson. If you can hear me,
We can.
good. My son Brandon was a super fisherman. Fishing was like a religion out on the water. So my piece of laundry was his overalls. He would always wear overalls when he go fishing. And the only other thing I want to say was, he was a good son, just so helpful and respectful, and that I miss so much. I miss so much.
Thank you for sharing. And that's pretty cool. You got the overalls and the fishing just to remind you of him. That's pretty awesome memory. Do we have one more person that would like to share?
Charlene?
I have a niece who recently passed away, and I kept her when she was a little young girl. She stayed here and served as my daughter's play sister. So they'd always like to dress alike on Easter. So one Easter, I got them both little pink dresses alike. So, but the thing I really remember her from is a Cabbage Patch doll. And they would play with this Cabbage Patch doll. Well, they had several Cabbage Patch dolls, but the one she cherished was named Boo Boo. And he was always getting in trouble. And I would be in the kitchen and I'd hear him back there just whipping Boo Boo, because he was always bad. So that's the thing, even at the funeral the other day, I thought about who, and I finally got a chance to meet Boo Boo. And he was the most gentle acting person I saw. And I thought, if I could tell you, if I could tell you this story, you probably wouldn't believe it. But I asked, my niece's name was Jakara, I asked Jakara's mother. I said, is that Boo Boo? She said, I said, he looks so gentle. She said, girl. I said, you don't even have to tell me, because Jakara used to whip him all the time. He got plenty of whippings at home, didn't he? She said, yes. So, but the sweet memory of her in that little pink dress, like you say, is a piece of clothing, but the activity that linked with it, because you think being as dressed up as you are on Easter, you wouldn't think about whipping.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, and thank you for being on. Thank you for sharing, Miss Charlene. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate everybody for being here.
I'm sorry.
Did anybody else want to share? I want to make sure we give everybody an opportunity.
Miss Janetta, did you want to share?
Yes. I put down beautiful dresses. My mom really loved to wear very fashionable dresses. And I thought about the memory when Dr. King died. And I asked her, what could we do for his family? It had just come on the television that Martin Luther King was dead. And she said we could pray. And we knelt down in front of the television and we prayed for his family and for our country and for us as a people, what we were going through. And it was the power of prayer over hate. And that's a memory that will forever be with me.
That's amazing. And that's a long-term memory. That's amazing. What do you Does anybody else? I want to make sure before I move on, because you know I got a lot of exercises, but I want to make sure I give everybody a chance.
I will.
Go right ahead.
Okay, my item was a shirt. My art wasn't very good, but it was a long sleeve shirt with buttons down the front. And it made me think about my husband because he served so many people in so many capacities. He worked at TVA, he wore nice shirts to work. He was a deacon at church, he wore the shirts. He served on the Urban League board, he wore the shirts. So he was very much just a servant at heart. And right now, his shirts are too big for me, but I still wear them outside sometime to do my yard work. And when I put them on, I just feel like, yes, they're too big. And to me, that's symbolism for they still kind of hug me, and it's more than I really need. But when I put them on, I just feel his presence and just a reminder of his kindness and gentleness and just respect and dignity he had toward everyone. I don't care who you were. He treated you with such kindness and respect. So the shirts are my comfort now.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Ms. Sharon. I appreciate that. And it's okay to be emotional. If we cry, you know, we talk about somebody we loved, and you know, that's just a sign that we love. So crying, tears are okay. Tears are fine. Grab some Kleenex. I've got some here on my desk that I kind of keep handy, but tears are just fine, just perfect. Because when we talk about things like this, it's hard sometimes. So it's perfectly okay. Are there any other hands, Miss Ashley, before I move on? If not, we're going to go to the next slide. And we're going to talk about how to celebrate life, how to celebrate our loved ones. You know, on the 22nd was the anniversary of my mom. My aunt died on the 4th. My uncle died on the 12th, all of April last year. And then I have another cousin who died on the 21st of this year. And she died unexpectedly. My cousin is named Janice, and Janice is from New Orleans. If y'all know me, I'm from New Orleans, where Janice was my first babysitter. And then when I grew up and went back, I went and babysitted her kids. So we have a really good connection. And so she just recently died. We haven't even been able to, you know, like Pastor was talking about in terms of not being able to go to the funeral. This would normally, we're the family that drives across country. We go to New Orleans, we'd be at the funeral. But with this pandemic, we can't all do that. So, you know, not only are we losing people, we can't even go and celebrate their life. So when you think about your person or your situation, how do you celebrate on anniversaries? How do you celebrate on Christmas or holidays? We've got Mother's Day and Father's Day coming up. We just had Valentine's Day for my widows. We've got a lot of stuff kind of going on. So how do we celebrate life? I was telling Pastor on the prayer line the other day, I was saying that, you know, it's been a year and I want to give God credit because he's kept me for this whole year. And then Pastor went to say something about me celebrating. And I'm like, go ahead and say celebrate. Yes, indeed. I'm going to celebrate my mama. I'm going to celebrate every chance I get and my other loved ones. So I want to encourage you guys to celebrate, to use these anniversaries as an opportunity to celebrate their life. What was their legacy? What did they like to do? Who were they? I'm going to give you an example. I want you guys to think about that for yourself, and I'll tell you about how I celebrate my mom with our next slide. Miss Alicia, if you'll help me with the next slide, please. So that's my mom. That is my absolute favorite picture of my mom. She took it when I was a child. I love the picture so much that I told her that I wanted the picture early. So she gave it to me early. I have it at my house, and I had it at my house before she passed because I wanted that picture. So that's my favorite picture. And my mom, as I said earlier, was a hat lady. So I reached out to somebody who, there's a local artist in town who could do this kind of stuff. And I told him we call her my G. And I told her, I sent her some pictures of the hats, which I kept. Some of the hats I shared with some families, but I took a picture of all the hats. So we sent the artist this information, and she came up with this rendering and put it on a blanket. We took that blanket and made it for family members for Christmas, because now we have my G that we can cuddle up with. When I was at the grief conference, I wrapped it around me. I wear her hats. I painted her hats. For Christmas, I had the hats all over the living room, and then I had the jewelry on the Christmas tree. I just kind of reveled in her hats, and I'm not even a hat girl. Y'all have to know I don't wear hats. So every hat y'all see me in, they've been my mama hats. And I wear them as a connection, like you said, Miss Sharon, to my mom. So I just want to use that as an idea of something you guys can do to make that connection as well. For Easter, we remember to go and love on some people. And so my mom was that kind of person. She would love on folk, and she would. And so for Mother's Day, that's what I'm gonna try to do. Every time I get an opportunity, I'm gonna love and be kind and share with somebody in honor of my mom, because that's who Miss Shirley was. She just loved everybody. She was the person in the nursing home that was checking on people in the nursing home. So that's just kind of how she was. So as a legacy to her, that's how I live. But on every anniversary, for Christmas, like I said, we celebrated with those blankets. We just found different ways to celebrate. So I would encourage you to think of your loved one. What's their legacy? How can you connect with them? How can you keep their memory alive? And I know some other people have done some awesome things for their loved ones at their time of on their anniversaries. And if anybody want to share any of their ideas, I'd love to hear a few now. If anybody want to raise your hand and let me know some ideas that you've tried before, or things that have worked for you to kind of help in your healing process. And Miss Ashley, help us look out for hands.
Miss April, do you mind if I share?
Go right ahead, Miss Alicia. I love it. Thank you.
Thanks. So in 2010, in August, my grandmother sadly passed from cancer. And my family actually every year since then has gotten together either the weekend before or the weekend after her, the anniversary of her death. And we kind of just, I don't know, revel in the fact that my grandmother was such a big family person. So no matter what we're doing or where we are, we make sure that our workplaces, our schools, anything knows that that weekend, you know, we're not going to be around. We're taking off time. We're getting together. We're celebrating her. We're celebrating each other. And from then on, we've also like make sure that if someone's birthday is coming up, we say like, okay, let's get together. Whether it's just going to a restaurant, whether it is getting on Zoom now because of the pandemic, we make sure like celebrating her and kind of filling up her legacy of just being close is like a main priority of ours. And we try our best, no matter what happens, no matter, you know, what challenges happens, we try to make sure we live that legacy and we keep her in mind that we're going to stay close, because we never know what's going to happen. I mean, we were actually talking about this, you myself, you and Ashley, and I just lost an uncle 2 days ago. And it reminds me of how important it is, you know, to stay close to those that we love. Time with them is not always promised. And my grandmother was very big on that, because I remember when I was 15, I lost my other uncle on my birthday, and she was very big on making sure, like, even though my birthdays weren't the best, that we celebrated them. We kept in mind that, well, that family was important. And so that's one small thing that my family does, and make sure that we keep my grandmother in thought anytime, August 10th comes around.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Alicia. I appreciate that. Ashley, do we have any more hands? Anybody else who want to share about how to celebrate?
Sister April, may I share?
Please, Miss Pat.
Okay, so our family had 3 losses in 4 years ago. It wasn't from the pandemic, but they were just my cousin Gerald. He passed in December of 2016. Then my brother in March of 2017. Then our grandmother, who was 107, in July of 2017. So those were major deaths. We lost a part of us. But what we do now, we make sure that, you know, it wasn't a sad time. We think about their lives. And so when we still have our family gatherings, we talk about them. Grandmother loved to eat. When we sit at the table, the first year we lost her, everybody was like, who's gonna sit in grandmama's chair? Who's gonna take the pot liquor? Grandmother always brought like a mason jar to get the pot liquor. That's what she called it, off the greens. So this is how we celebrate their life, not their death. And so some people thought, what? We're like, yeah, that's what we do. My cousin Gerald, everyone knew he loved to sing. So when we at choir rehearsal at church and things like that, and at the family gatherings, we're like, okay, who forgot the words? Make up something like Gerald did. This is the things we do, and we just all have a big laugh about it. My brother Lionel, you know, he did the same thing. He would always fix his to-go plate before he fixed his plate to sit down and eat. So these are things we do at family gatherings and all, and it just brings joy to our heart because we make sure that they're still included.
Awesome, beautiful. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you sharing that. Gerald Benton, that's what you're talking about, right? Our Gerald.
Yes, Gerald and I were like brothers and sisters. Our moms, you know, we grew up as sisters and brothers, not as first cousins. And so, you know, in our daily lives, that's what we do. We talk about each other just like they're still here because they will forever be in our hearts. You know what I mean? So we don't look at, yes, we miss them, we love them, but we still include them in our lives.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Do we have anybody else, Miss Ashley?
I'm still looking here.
Can I piggyback off Pat?
Yes, ma'am.
This, and I hope you can see her, she fades away.
Oh.
This is a gift that I gave my mother on, let's see, a happy birthday gift before she passed away. And she would not let anyone touch this doll. So I'm like Pat, when we have our annual gatherings, we always make sure that we have her at the table. And the grandbabies are so glad that now they can go over and do what they couldn't do when she was living, which is get her to smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. And sometimes her spirit will be so strong in my room, I'll just know she wants to sing, so I'll go over and punch her hand. That's what friends are for. She also was a soloist. We had a family gathering, and I couldn't get anybody to sing. So guess who sung? That's what friends are for. For good times. Thank you for letting me share.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love that, Miss Charlene. I love that. Beautiful, beautiful.
What friends are
for. So cute. My mom liked those kind of things too. That's why I'm smiling real big because she loves, I hadn't even thought about that till you just played it, but she would love that and she would play it all the time. So that is very, very cool. Anybody else want to share? Well, we got one more little thing we're gonna do before we have another special guest. So I'm gonna, let's do the next slide, Miss Alicia. Well, actually I got two more things. First, we're going to talk about memorials. When we think about Joshua and we think about the Israelites and we think about the memorial stones, God told them to set a memorial, to take a stone for each of the tribes and to set it in the Jordan. And so he said, so that they could be a memorial forever for the children. So we can do our own memorial for our family members. I had a beautiful gift given to me as my mom died, and this gift was a picture. Next slide, Miss Alicia. Was a board that I could add a picture of my mom to the board. And so I took this board, this gift as a block, like a wooden block. And so I took a piece of the program and I put it on the block and I have it at my desk. So every day my mom is sitting with me at my desk. And so I'm able to counsel and she joins me for counseling. It just feels like Ms. Charlene said, I feel her spirit and it's really encouraging. So, you know, you can do something like that, set your own memorial. It doesn't have to be, something formal. It could be a rock that you paint. It could be a picture. And I'm sure we all have different ways. If you want to put in the chat room, maybe some of the ideas you've used for a memorial, feel free to do that. I said I had one more thing. Actually, I think I have two more. I think I've got a little time. I'm gonna try to go through both of these exercises because I think they're important. But so go ahead and do your own memorial ideas on the chat room, or just write yourself a note to remember to do some memorial to commemorate your loved one. And actually feel free to stop me if anybody does have their hands up because I can't see it. So the next little slide, and Alicia, you could do the next one. We're going to talk about resiliency factors. Every time I teach, anywhere I go, if you see me present anywhere, I almost always talk about resiliency. And the reason, there are a couple of reasons for that. One is I want to remind us in a time of grief and loss, how do we bounce back? I got a tennis ball up there to represent bouncing back. Sometimes we have so much pain and so much hurt, we just get stuck and we don't know how to get out of it. And so these 10 factors that we have on our screen represent resiliency factors. And I want you to think about on your own sheet of paper, I told you to have some paper with you, how many of these 10 do you have? Just write down on your own piece of paper. I'll turn our music back on for a minute and write down how many of those 10 factors you have in your own life. You might want to write down which ones too, so you can remember which ones you have. So there are 10 total. See how many of those 10 you have personally.
We sit down at the table, our eyes cannot avoid the empty chair. I pick up the phone to call you, and suddenly remember you're not there. I bow my head and close my eyes, but there's somebody missing from my life. Every hour of the day is full of pain I can't ignore. There's no such thing as no anymore. We gather for Thanksgiving, but it's hard to be grateful through each year. Pretty soon it will be Christmas. It'll be such a hollow feeling to my cheer. I know you're gone and life goes on, but I'd rather just get happy than be. Where there once was joy and laughter, my heart is bruised and sore.
There's no such thing as normal anymore. The birds just keep on singing as if nothing's changed. They know that everything is different and will never be the same.
Okay, if everybody got a chance to write down how many you have and which ones, put in the chat box your number. I want to see what kind of numbers we're getting. So in the chat box, write the number that you have. Or somebody name some of them. I see some of the memorials. Thank you for sharing. Beautiful. All right, so I see somebody with 9. That's good. 8, 4, 3, 4, 8. Social support, facing fears, 7. And I don't know if those are ones we have or ones we don't have. But let me tell you why I love to talk about resiliency. I don't know if anybody has worked in the school system where we talk about ACEs, and that's adverse childhood experiences. There's a 10 that we count to see how many trauma events or things that kids have had. Well, this is my opposite survey. How many resiliency factors do we have? How many things do we have going for us? And so when I do my count, I have 10 for 10. And I explain that as the reason why I bounce back from everything. And so I get excited about that because as a therapist, as a trauma therapist, and we deal with a lot of trauma, I often have to explain to people why they don't look like what they've been through. And this is my explanation why we don't look like what we've been through, because we have these factors. And if you don't have the factors, let's say if you said 4, if you have less than 4, guess what? Resiliency can be fostered. We can learn to foster resiliency. So we may not be born with it, but we can still learn to foster. There's a lot more research on that, and I could talk about it all day, but I'm going to move on to our next thing. But I just want you to know that there are such things as resiliency factors. A lot of us have them. It explains why we bounce back. And if we don't have them, we can learn more about them, and we can learn to bounce back. So this is our last exercise before we get to hear from Miss Tammy. So I want everybody to look at, how do you recharge? What do you do to fill your battery? I have this picture of a battery. We got one down here with the red, don't have much energy left. Sometimes we're kind of midway, and sometimes we're fully charged. So what do you do to fill your own battery? What gives you life? What gives you energy? What makes you come alive? How often it's associated with fun? How do you have fun? So I want you to think about it. I'm gonna do some slides. Alicia, you can just kind of click each slide, and I'm gonna just kind of walk through them real quick and just write down what you do, because you want to make your own personal customized list of things that you do. You may not do what I do. I like to paint. I like to hike and bike, and I like to teach. This is making me come alive. I love doing this kind of stuff. So that might not be on your list of favorite things to do. So make your own custom list of things that you really enjoy. Like that first one, animals. That's not my stuff. Maybe bird listening and watching, but I'm not a dog petting kind of person, but you may be. So that's why it's going to be custom, okay? Look at the exercise. Are we walking, running, swimming, biking, home exercise videos. Dancing should be on there. Dancing will be on there for me. What about the house? Does getting your things in order make you come alive? Organizing, cleaning, getting things together. What about facial expressions? Crying, laughing, singing, shouting, screaming. Do those things make you get excited? I love the pictures of the facial expressions. They just kind of remind me of my kids and grandkids. They can make the best expressions. So, do those expressions get you excited? What about kindness? I mentioned my mom and her love for kindness, her beautiful heart. She helped others. She, did random acts of kindness. We can teach somebody a skill. We can talk about what we're grateful for. And gratitude, I would say, will be another resiliency factor while we're thinking about it. But, what are we doing that's kind? What about learn something new? Our pastor often talk about the brain science of learning a new skill, learning a new instrument, learning calculus or something, math, something that you didn't know before. Those things make the synapses in your brain grow. So what are we doing? Watch a tutorial, learn, take a class. Miss Gwen at church often talks about gardening. We can do things like that. What about house repair? Are you handy around the house? Do you like fixing things, making things, building things, making something new, decorating a room? Is that your thing? Well, if it makes you come alive, go ahead and do that. What about relaxing your mind? Miss Tammy's going to help us with this a little bit, thinking about daydreaming, meditating, praying, moving, yoga, relaxation. Those kind of things can help us come alive as well. Any music buffs in the house besides me? I love music, any kind of music, all kinds, from country to rock and roll to soul. I love it all. And so gospel, what kind of music do you like? Turn on the radio, sing a song, dance, listen to a podcast. What about nature? Anybody like getting out in nature, gardening, mowing the lawn, picking flowers, walking in nature, sitting in the sun, taking pictures of sunset? That's been something I've been kind of doing lately, which has been fun. Are you a planner? Do you like setting goals and planning and thinking about the future? What about reading? Read your favorite book, read the newspaper, read your favorite website. What about if you're a scheduler, set timers, schedule, do those kind of things. Self-care, take a warm shower, wash your hair, do a facial, trim your nails, do a sunbath, take a nap. What about trying something new clothes, be spontaneous, express yourself, new food, new movies. I love the new websites and stuff we have now where we can share our cooking experiences with each other. That's been a lot of fun to share. And you can share other things like that. I think we got a few more, Miss Alicia. We talked about cooking, connecting with others, doing a podcast or a Zoom meeting to connect with people, joining groups. I've joined a lot of groups since the pandemic started, joining things that people that have similar interests that we have. And then also we can create, draw pictures, paint, sketch, scrapbooking, finishing projects, sewing, that kind of thing. I've found my interest in painting and coloring again. So that's been really exciting for me because I used to paint as a kid, but it's been a long time. But now I do it just kind of for fun. So that's been kind of nice. And just before I let you get on, we're going to jump to the hope chest. If you just grab the hope chest, I'll go back to that last one because I can't skip writing. Writing is so important. Write a letter, write a journal, watch a movie, YouTube videos, but a gratitude letter. If you're angry about something, write a letter. Just get that emotion out of you. So you might just do like I did at the beginning, write words all over the place, or you might write a letter to somebody that you can't send, or maybe it's somebody who's passed. But just writing will help you get that information out. You know how we complain when somebody do something wrong? I love writing a letter saying, you know what, you had a great, I had a great intern. I had somebody who did a great job. I love writing recommendation letters or complimentary letters. So we can do that as well. So use your pen for power. It'll help you heal. And then I want to talk about Hope Chest real quick, and then we're going to bring Miss Tammy on. Thank you, Miss Tammy, for waiting patiently. This is our last little thing I want you to think about. What's in your hope chest? What gives you hope? What are you looking forward to after the pandemic? Is it a trip? What are you looking forward to this summer? What are you looking forward to? When I just look forward to something, if I have something to look forward to, it gives me hope. And so I just want to encourage you to have something. Just think about your own hope chest. Write down what's in your hope chest. Think about what you look forward to, and just encourage yourself, because I just think those kind of things are ways that we can encourage each other. And Miss Alicia, I'm gonna let you come on and introduce our next guest.
Thank you, Ms. April, for that amazing presentation on grief and how we can handle, and especially the things we can do now and things we can do in the future as this pandemic progresses, and hopefully we come back to our usual norm. Now we will have a segment from Ms. Tammy Martin. So if you are Ms. Tammy Martin, please unmic and take over the program.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, everybody. I have just been enjoying just sitting in and listening to you guys. Really good friends with Miss April Taylor, and I appreciate her. She's just been really influential in my life as well. And so I hear some familiar voices and some I do not. I am Tammy Ison Martin, and I'm here today to talk to you. I do several things. I'm a third grade teacher. I love working with children, and I love health and fitness, and I love the Lord. And so today, listen to everything that you guys have said. I'm just going to piggyback off of it before we go into it. And what I'm going to bring to you is mindful movements. And I will say, first of all, when it comes to the mindful movements, it does not matter what age you are. So that is a really, really good thing, from the youngest to the oldest. And what happens is it just regulates the energy in your body while you're definitely practicing and focusing in on your deep breathing. It's not hard at all. It refers to engaging in different exercises while you're placing all of the attention on your movements and the breathing taking place in your body. So believe it or not, you guys are probably going to say, I have done some of these things already. I just really didn't put the mindfulness with it. So sitting, walking, exercising, meditative mind and body, which is some things that we just heard Ms. Taylor talk about. When it comes to the meditative and the mind and the body, you're dealing with the flexibility of your body. You're dealing with heart health, which we all definitely need, and you're dealing with muscle tone. Like I said, no matter what age we are, it's a muscle in there. And so, you know, those are the things we're dealing with. And then we're also talking about movement as stretching. And gosh, I think all of us have done it, the cleaning. And so all of these, you can say I have been doing movements, but now we're going to focus on putting our minds to it. And so today I'm going to take you briefly through some mindful movements. I noticed we're pretty much all sitting down. So if you're in a chair, feel free to kind of scoot back a little bit. If I stand, you're more than welcome to stand. And let me just say, dealing with our topic of bereavement and grief, and as you go through that journey, just be encouraged, but you set the tone for your mindful movements. I heard one of the ladies talking about her husband's shirt, and I'm sure even when wearing that shirt, you think about his smell and maybe what he used to wear. So guys, when you're doing things like that, there are fragrances or colognes or perfumes that you could mist in the air as you're breathing, just as you recall and as you grieve, and that is okay. Whether you're dimming your lights, playing some music, and this depends on the type of movement you're doing, because if you're sitting or doing your meditative and mind and body, then this might be a different music versus when you're walking and you're exercising or you're cleaning up, because you're kind of fast paced. And so that music may be different. But today, definitely due to our topic, and we've all been going through a lot this year and in our past. Today, I'm going to play some sacred music, and I hope it just takes you there. And I really want you to focus on your mind and your breathing. So today I'm going to go through some simple things that we can all do. You can do this on your own. I do this with my students in school just to help them focus, just to help them through tests, behavior management, also as well as grief. Because believe it or not, our children go through a lot. They see a lot, they hear a lot. And so this helps us all. So we're going to get ready to relax. So you can just kind of set the tone if you want to dim the lights, and just recalling everything that everyone has talked about today. If not, leave your lights on. I am going to play some music, and I am going to talk you through this. And I'm kind of going to take us through a total body mindful movement. It won't get your heart rate up a lot. And I hope these are some things that you guys can remember, whether you're sitting or you're standing. So this is basically going to be the part of the movement where there's meditative mind and body. So once again, we've got our sitting, walking, exercise, meditative mind and body, stretching, and cleaning are all a part of our mindful movements. So today my focus will be on the meditative mind and body. So I'm going to get my music ready. And we are just simply going to get started for a few minutes. Let me get us here. Can you all hear? Miss Taylor, can you hear that?
I can. You might want to go up a little bit.
Can you hear now?
Yes.
So as you are sitting, guys, hopefully, can you see me as well? I want to make sure you can see me. So as you're sitting, you just want to sit up straight. And first, we're going to start with some good deep breaths. You're going to fill your lungs with air. So breathe in one time. Blowing out through your mouth. Breathe in again. We're going to do 2 more. One more, breathing in. Fill those lungs with air, meditating and focusing. Next, what I want you to do is, what you're going to do is you're going to take your arms around your body. If you were sitting on the floor, you would hold your knees in, but I'm sitting in a chair so that everyone can do it. And you just want to tighten and give yourself the biggest hug. 1, 2, 3, 4, and release. Next, you're going to do it again. Give yourself the tightest hug. Tight. You want to do it very tight. 3, 4, and release. Next, what I want you to do is you're going to hold your hands here. And you want to give a very tight fist. 1, 2, 3, 4, and release. Very good. Hands go down. Bring them back up. Give me a tight fist. 1, 2, 3, 4, and release. Very good. Now, you're going to hold that hand up in front of you. And you're going to take breaths and you're going to trace your hand. Your own breathing. Very good. And you're going to go backwards. Again, just focusing. And I'm breathing. Very good. And reverse it. Make sure you are breathing. Focus on that breathing. Now take that hand and you're just going to hold this hand out. You want to stretch it down. Yes. Breathe in and blow out. And switch hands. Bring it down. Pull those fingers back. Inhale. Exhale. Very good. Now, if you can, what I would like for you to do is roll your shoulders. Yes. And you want to try to touch your ears if you can. And don't forget, guys, inhale and exhale. And let's reverse that. Yes. Very good. Now what I want you to do is you're sitting. You're just going to take your hands, give them a great big stretch like you're reaching up to the sky. And I have my hands in. Very good. And I'm just going to stand up a little bit. Just a little bit. Still sitting position. Yes. Very good. And what you want to do while you're there, you just want to twist your body over. Take a deep breath, inhale, and exhale. Now let's just look over to the other side. Inhale, and exhale. Very good. You may sit back down. Now as you're doing that, you just want to kick your leg up if you can see me. And you're just stretching that leg out. And roll that foot around. Yes. And bend it down. Switch legs. Just kick that leg up. And it doesn't have to be straight out. If you can only get it towards your ankle, that is fine. And you want to roll that ankle around. Very good. Bring it down. Now we simply just want to go back and forth. This comes with your stretching. Yes, very good. Yes, good job. Now, you want to bring your prayer hands in front of you. And you just want to flip them out. And push your back back. Very good. And bring your prayer hands back in front of you. And now go above your head and stretch them up. Bring them down. Now during this time, you're just going to take deep breaths in and out. Focus, breathe in. Place your hands on your lap, blow out. In. Blow out. This is your breathing. Yes, Lord. Breathe in. Blow out. Continue to breathe. Blow it out. Fill your body with air. Produce that energy. Breathe in. out. Now you just want to shake your body loose. Legs, ankles. You may move your neck around and roll your head around. Yes.
So we sing, oh, we need you.
Yes.
We need you.
Now for the last time, your hands will go up.
Let your glory
Blow it out.
We need you. Oh,
one more time, up. And exhale down.
Father, your presence is on me.
Now you're just sitting there. Let me stop our music. Now, I hope that you, did it stop? Oh, it's coming back. I'm going to cut it down. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm making sure. So that right there was just a brief run through of mindful movements. And what happens is, I know I was talking kind of loud because I wanted you guys to understand, but you find the music that suits you. You find the music that suits you at the time for whatever you're going through, that also motivates you. I do a lot of motivational listening when I am running and exercising and I'm jogging because it pushes me. It pushes me. And as you go through your grieving process, you find the music that relates to what you're grieving for. And you get somewhere and you meditate and you breathe. But the most important part is not the fact, because you were listening to my voice this time, is finding one with yourself, being able to relax. And this is something you should do on a regular basis, every day, I would say. And like I was saying, you saw me give simple movements this time, and that's for all ages. So just the moving of your arms and moving to the music or whatever you would like to play, whatever allows you to get one with yourself and to focus and to breathe. Guys, the most important part, it really is the breathing. And sometimes you may say, oh, I'm tired of breathing. But then again, no, we're not tired of breathing. But when you allow that oxygen to fill your body and to go to your brain, you would be surprised what it does for your mindset and for your relaxation as you are focusing on your matters at hand. So I just want to say thank you so much. I'm always available. And I do this a lot, so you're more than welcome to get my information from Ms. Taylor, because if there's anybody that needs me, I will definitely be honored to help you, especially through your grieving process or exercise or anything that you need like that. So I just ask that you will continue to be encouraged and know that God is with you on your journey. So Dr. Taylor, thank you so much for allowing me to share this with them.
Thank you, Miss Tammy. As always, you're amazing. I appreciate you. You always bring in, I knew you were the girl for this job, so I'm just so excited for you because I just know you're going to encourage me and kind of help me get where I need to go, because it's a lot of stuff I do. This is not one of my specialties, so I always call people who do what I don't do. That's how we partner with each other. So I love, thank you, Miss Pat. Yes, we definitely need to give her a round of applause. That was beautiful and excellent. She's always excellent.
No problem.
But I just appreciate you. And before I turn it back over to, we've got some door prizes, so don't go away if you're still on, because we got some door prizes. Want everybody to hang on for that for a second. But I just wanted to say to John and Miss Pat, and for Alicia and Ashley and Tammy, thank you so much. You know, we can't do this stuff by ourselves. It takes a team. It takes a village. I'm from that village, the village people. So I appreciate everybody for everything. Because I'm gonna let John wrap it up. But I just wanted to say that before I give the floor to my ladies. They're gonna do the door prizes, and then we're gonna and then after the door prizes, John's gonna come back and close for us. Okay, we appreciate Pastor Taylor. He's gonna come back and get us right. But thank you so much, Tammy. That was beautiful. And Pat, as usual, you did your thing too. I appreciate both of y'all. All right, Miss Ashley, you have the floor.
Thank you. So now it is time for our door prizes, and we have a drawing. All the names have been entered, and we have a few prizes to give out. So we'll start with the first name. And before I announce the winners of the door prizes, I just want to do a quick disclaimer that I will be contacting you via the chat to get your contact information so we can send you these prizes. So the first name that we have here is Galaxy Tab A8.
So tell them what their instructions are if they have a name like that. What do they need to do, Miss Ashley?
If that is your name that you signed on with, please message me in the chat with your contact information, so we will be able to send you your prize.
And make sure you do that directly to Alicia, right?
To me or Alicia.
Okay, only those two, so it won't go public. So make sure you send it privately for us.
Okay. Now we're going to do the next.
What did you win, Miss Ashley?
What she won is we have some gift cards.
So tell
them. Miss Galaxy Tab A8, you won a Darden's gift card, and that has multiple restaurants by Darden.
Name them.
The Olive Garden, the Long John Silver's, and
Longhorn.
Yeah.
Longhorn, Olive Garden, Cheddar's, Yard House, Bahama Breeze, and Seasons. I think that's Seasons. I may need my life.
Woo, go Galaxy Tab A8.
Okay. I give you your next one, Miss Ashley.
Our next one is Pamela Salmons.
And what did she win?
She has also won a Darden's gift card.
And how much? Do you remember what they were worth?
The gift cards are $25.
Beautiful, nice. Congrats.
Now we'll go on to our next one. Let's see here. Tawana Banks.
Thank you.
And she won.
Thank you.
She won a Logan's gift card.
Congrats. And please, if you've won, send your information, contact information to myself or Ashley. We're easy to find. We just have SLCC intern with our name. So that will be a helpful hint to find us.
Okay, the next name in our raffle. Ann Robinson. And I believe that was one of our participants on the Facebook Live.
Perfect. What did she win?
She won a Logan's gift card. And the Logan's gift cards are also $25. Okay, we still have more door prizes. So the next name, let's see here. Mary Jones. And this is another one from our Facebook Live.
Very good.
You won a Darden's gift card.
And hold up for the announcement on Facebook Live. If you'll message me your information, just message me directly your mailing address so we can mail it to you if you're a Facebook Live winner. please. Go ahead, Ms. Ashley.
Okay, our next name, Miss Tia Taylor Clark. You won a Logan's gift card.
Yay! Thank you.
Okay, we are down to our last door prize. And our final name is Mr. Johnny Bone at att.net. You won a Logan's gift card.
All right, thank you, Miss Ashley. So we got some winners in the house. We appreciate everybody. So awesome. Was there any other housekeeping, Miss Ashley, that we needed to do? Did I miss anything? Or Miss Alicia?
There was just one thing before Mr. John Taylor spoke. I just want to share my screen right quick with some community resources. So in addition to, of course, us having Sound Living, we also have primary care physicians, psychiatrists, psychologists in our community, counselors, therapists, social workers. We have counseling centers, as we talked about, Sound Living Counseling Center is one. We also have community mental health centers. We have funeral homes, Taylor Funeral Home Chattanooga, which is one of the places that we also talked about. We have hospice agencies, and we also have grief share at our local churches. So please know that hope, healing, and help is available in our community. And I also want to mention the music that you heard during the activities that Ms. Taylor was basically presenting. I'm sorry. It was found, my apologies.
Go backwards.
It is found with this album, Drink Deep, A Musical Journey Through Grief. We don't own the rights to this music, but Ms. Taylor was gracious enough to have a CD and we played it. And this is the album if you'd like to be able to buy it through them or stream it somehow. So now we will be moving on to announcement and closing remarks by Mr. John Taylor of the Taylor Funeral Homes in Chattanooga.
First of all, I just want to say thank you so very much to April, to all of the participants, Mrs. Tammy, who did an outstanding job, to April. You did a great, it was just excellent, and I enjoyed the exercises and learned a lot from it. To all of you who signed on, I just personally want to say thank you. I hope you have been blessed just as I have been blessed. And share this, take this, grow from this, but mostly pass it on. And to all of you, let's go out and make a difference, even in the midst of our grief. I want to remind everyone, please be mindful that there is a COVID, FEMA has a COVID-19 funeral assistance program. Share the message. If you know of someone who has from COVID or with COVID, there are some requirements. They have to have COVID on the death certificate. They must be the responsible party. There is a number that you can receive from FEMA. You can go online or you can call my office. We can give you that number. You can call them. We met with them on Monday in Atlanta, and they're working hard to make sure that they are processing all of these claims as quickly as possible. So there are some guidelines to it, and make sure you adhere to that. And then lastly, I want to just share with us as we move forward, as April brought out, making sure we are moving forward. There's a passage that comes to my mind from the book of Joshua. You remember Joshua, when Moses passed, God gave Moses 30 days to grieve. And then after that, he told Moses and gave him a reality check. And this helps me to move on and to keep moving in the midst of my grief. He tells him in verse number 2, he says, "Now Moses, my servant, is dead." He says, "I have a mission for you. You've got to take my people over into the promised land." So what I've learned from this is that God does allow us time to grieve, but in the midst of our grief, we still have to keep moving because we've got others who are right there that we've got to share. And April brought that out to us. So I want you to keep moving in the midst of your grief, in the midst of your pain. You're not going to get over it, but we learned like a scar, a cut on an arm, everything will get better with time. So keep healing, keep growing, keep changing, and keep making a difference in your life and in the lives of others. And I want to thank you so very much. As we go forth, may we go forth with a greater determination. I might be hurt, but I'm not down. We can do this thing and we can go forth with that and with God on our side. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. And I just wanted to add that we appreciate you, Mr. John and Miss Anita, for always partnering with us. You've always been there to help us out. Miss Pat, we haven't forgot about you. We appreciate your singing and being willing to come.
Yes.
We appreciate everybody who got a chance to come and sign on. Every single person, whether you look by Facebook Live or whether you were able to sign on and do the Zoom with us. We just thank you for everything. And if anybody has any other comments, you can put them in the chat room, or if you have anything you want to say, raise your hand and let Miss Ashley know, and we'll wrap up the program. Thank you, Mr. John. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. And let's continue to grow and let's continue to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you have any other comments, Ashley? Did anybody raise their hands real quick before we wrap it all the way up?
I don't see any more raised hands. Final comments. If I called your name for the drawing, please message me privately with your contact information so we can send you your gift card.
And Ashley, if you let me just also add that if they can't get to you, call me at the office. We'll make sure you get your gift card there.
Right. And I see somebody say we'll leave it at Taylor, so we got it.
Mm.
Well, thank you, everybody. That's a wrap. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us. We appreciate everybody and all your time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Alicia, you and Ashley can stay on for a second.
Okay.
Alicia, I made you the host. Can you make Miss April the host again?
Someone their number in the chat.
Yes, I'm getting it now.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if you got the confirmation contact information for Tawana Banks. She sent me her email. So
Yes, I got it.
If you haven't gotten anything from her, I'll just. Oh, she sent it to you?
Yes, I got it all.
Okay, perfect. Huh? Almost. Miss April, you're muted.
Miss Tawanda, are you are you there?
Who?
I see Miss Tawanda's.
Miss
That's Tawanda is Galaxy Tab 8. Is that what you're saying?
No,
No,
she's
she's
still on. She
Okay.
hasn't signed off, so we're not sure.
Okay. Because we need to find out who that is, because I don't know who that is. If we don't get a name for that one, that's gonna be an issue.
Galaxy Tab A looked like two older people. I wasn't sure if they were your family members or
That's
something.
Charles. It might be my aunt and uncle, maybe. I'll check.
Yeah,
it.
because when they came on, you're like, hi, auntie, hi, uncle. I was like, okay, so they might be your family.
Yeah,
So
that's who it was. I guess they qualify. Hey. I'll let them know. Okay, I know how to get it to them too. So I know everybody's. The only one we didn't know was the Johnny, and he told me to leave it at Taylor. So we can
Right.
make that happen for him. Everybody else, I know who they are, how to contact them some kind of way. If you got the information, send it to me. But I'm saying, if we didn't get it, we're okay because we know everybody, which is perfect.
okay.
I was afraid that I wouldn't know who somebody was.
okay.
I stopped the recording. Oh, I didn't stop the Facebook Live. Let me do that too.